Hi, my name is Shahalini Bledsoe, and I am here to talk to you about ways to question students and the strategies that you can use to question students during a project, presentation, or assignments to gain a deeper level of connection with the material. The first thing that I want to discuss is the depths of knowledge levels. So we have recall, which is level 1. You have skills and concepts, which is level 2. You have strategic thinking, which is level 3. And then you have extended thinking, which is level 4. The depth of knowledge questions are designed to push students beyond surface level understanding and encourage deeper cognitive engagement with the material. By requiring students to analyze, evaluate, and create these questions, it promotes a higher level of critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Um, the variety of these questions help students connect concepts and apply knowledge in new contexts, and it helps them apply what they're learning to real-world applications. So the higher the level of question, the better it is for them, and that way they have a deeper understanding. So the first one is level 1, which is recall. In an assignment that I created, a multimedia project where students explore an historical event through the lens of visual art, music, and literature. So these are the questions that I would use to see where students are in their understanding. So this is level 1 is recall, which are important because they establish a foundational understanding of the material. So these questions help ensure that students grasp basic facts and concepts, which are essential for building more complex knowledge and skills. So for example, like number 1, what is the name of the historical event being studied? Number 2, who were the main artists, composers, and writers during the historical period? And number 3, what significant dates are associated with the historical event? These are just basic questions to gain their understanding of the material that they are reading and the historical events that they are researching. Probing questions for level 2, skills and concepts. So level 2, depth of knowledge questions are important because they promote the students to engage in skills such as comparing, contrasting, and classifying information. These questions require students to go beyond recall and demonstrate a deeper understanding by making connections between concepts. So level 2 questions allow the students, it's a step above level 1 questions. It allows the students to compare and contrast and really dive into the material even more to understand why it relates to whatever it is that they're studying. So by tackling these intermediate questions, students build a bridge between basic comprehension and more advanced analytical thinking. So, for example, number 4, in what ways did the visual art of the period communicate the emotions and atmosphere surrounding the event, the historical event? So this question, it may not have it directly in the text, but it's not too far from the text. They have to do a little thinking, just a little bit, to put their answer together. Probing questions, level 3, strategic thinking. Level 3 questions push students to analyze, evaluate, and create, fostering advanced problem-solving abilities and encourage them to apply their knowledge in novel contexts. So this is more problem-based questions. So question number 3 says, what connections can you draw between the themes and the music of the time and the key events that took place? They have to do a little bit more. This is more higher order thinking questions. They have to do a little bit more thinking when it comes to questions like this. They have to think very strategically. That is why it is called strategic thinking. Probing questions level 4, extended thinking. So this is where students apply what they have learned. This definitely has to deal with um, applying their knowledge in real world applications. So these questions push students to plan, investigate, and apply their learning to real world scenarios, fostering a comprehensive and integrative understanding of the material. When student engagement with these complex tasks, students develop advanced research and inquiry skills that are essential for lifelong learning and success in various fields. So, this is where teachers really know if their students understand what they have learned or the material that they are researching. Are students able to apply what they have learned? Are students able to use um, the material that they have learned in real world applications? For example, counting money. When students count, can they count their money? That is a real world life thing that we use now. When adults, we count money. We need to know how to count our money. So can students do that? Can they apply that knowledge from adding, multiplying, dividing, subtracting? Can they apply what they have learned to a real world application, which in that terms will be counting their money? So, for example, for my assignment that I created, number two, in what ways can you develop a thesis that explains the relationship between the historical event and contemporary global issues, supported by examples from visual art, music, and literature? So, in this question, it's requiring students to take the material that they have been researching, that they have learned, and create a thesis out of what they have learned that explains the relationship between the historical event of their research and the global issues of their research. So it's also pulling in, let's go back. It's also pulling in strategic thinking, and it's also pulling in level two concepts, because level two, you're comparing and contrasting. So in level four, you are also comparing and contrasting as well with question number two. So it all ties in together. Um, if students don't have level two, it's going to be difficult for them to get to level four. If they don't have level one, it's going to be difficult for them to get to level two. So they all matter. All levels of depth of knowledge really matter in order for students to have a clear understanding of what they are learning. Strategies for implementing in a formative assessment. So one strategy that I used for my formative assessment, which I do this in class in my own classroom a lot. One strategy is to use open-ended questions in a whole group setting, discussion setting. This requires students to analyze information that they learn from different resources. So by doing this, I am able to see what misconceptions students have, and I can actually correct it right then and there, or I can see what it is that I need to change in my own instructional time for when I'm teaching for my students instructional lessons. So I love having open-ended discussions. My students also love having open-ended discussions because they are also able to bounce ideas off of each other. Another strategy is to implement peer review sessions where students present their multimedia project and their classmates ask probing questions. So I do like this strategy as well. However, it just has to be done in a certain way. But this is a really good strategy to implement as well for a formative assessment. You can also it allows students to learn from each other. It's more student-led than it is teacher-led. Um, which whole group discussions can also be more student-led than it is teacher-led. I do a bit of both in my classroom, but they are both great strategies. Implementing formative assessments provide ongoing feedback to both students and teachers. This allows for adjustments to be made in instruction and learning strategies. These assessments help identify areas where students may be struggling and give teachers the opportunity to address misconceptions um, before they become entrenched in the material. Strategies for implementing summative assessments. So summative assessments, so the summative assessment strategy that I came up with is students could complete a comprehensive research paper of their findings from their multimedia presentation. For my project and how I want my students to complete my project, I thought this was the best strategy for implementing a summative assessment. The research paper would include the following questions. How have visual art, music, and literature collectively shaped public perception of the historical event? What are the key similarities and differences in the portrayal of the event across these mediums? How does the contemporary relevance of the event manifest in modern artistic expressions? So all of these questions um, matter because they all include all levels of depths of knowledge. So again, if you don't have level 1 or level 2, you can't have level 3 and level 4. If you don't have level 3, you won't have level 4. If you don't have level 1, you won't have level 2. So they all matter. These questions were chosen to ensure that students critically analyze the interconnectedness of different art forms and their impact on cultural identity, demonstrating a deep understanding of both historical and contemporary context. The digital tools that I would use for my assignment would be Padlet and Canva. So I do love Padlet, but I absolutely love Canva. My students also love Canva. They do several different projects on Canva. Canva enables students to create visually compelling presentations and infographics, which can promote critically thinking as they analyze information from various sources to present learned information. So Canva is a really good one. Padlet is also really good. They worked well together as well. So together, Padlet and Canva complement each other by providing a platform for brainstorming and organizing ideas visually, while also offering a means to present those ideas creatively and effectively. So both really worked well together. I've done that once with my students, where I use both in a project, and it I love the results. So they really worked well together. And thank you for staying for my presentation. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you.